And we're live. Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to the Mojo Show, your real estate podcast where we talk about everything real estate. I'm your host, Joe Mortgage.
And I'm Cup of Joe Mortgage.
This week's episode, we're talking about the big one, and that's not waiting for the perfect home when you start your home search journey. So many buyers get stuck in the trap of chasing the perfect home, but the truth is waiting for the perfect home could cost you the right opportunity. So all that and a bunch more. Before we get to all of that, get a little coffee talk. Boy, it's been a couple weeks. Can you tell? I can't even speak anymore. And apologize to everyone watching that we did take about 2 weeks off because Joe and I, which want to talk with our coffee talk this morning, is getting our kids in college. So both of us, and that's why we ended up having to take a 2-week break as both of us were getting our kids in college, moved into their dorms, all of that. And I understand, Joe, you had quite the workout in getting Hunter into his dorm.
I love my son, and counting floors is probably not his strong suit, since he told us, hey, I think we're on the first floor, so we're not going to have to walk upstairs. I'm like, awesome. We get there, we get his package, and we're like, 518. I was like, 5 never starts on first floor, Hunter.
No.
And so we were on the fifth floor, which is the top of the dorm. And I'm like, awesome. The elevator was so slow. It's more just for handicap purposes more than anything.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was up and down. I think by the end of it, it was like 22 or 23 flights of stairs climbed. So I was like, at least I got some legs in. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I on ours, we had to park and move everything in. I hear yours was a little easier. I'm wondering what kind of college you got Sam in up there that they just take care of you so well.
Well, actually, the freshman and sophomore year, they did. Junior year, this year was a little different, but freshman and sophomore year, you had a specific time that you had to be there, right? Everyone had a specific time. So you pull into this, stream of cars behind, and you pull up to the dorm essentially, and they've got the crews out there with these gigantic bins,
right?
And you just open your trunks, your doors, and everything. They're pulling them out, stuffing it all into these big bins. They're on wheels, and they wheel it up to your dorm, right?
Wow.
So all the elevators obviously are taken up for them. You got to take the stairs, right? Okay, no problem. I'll do that while you take, these 3 or 4 giant bins of all of my daughter's stuff up there. So it was super easy. I loved it that they did this. And actually some of the people that were doing this were the staff, the college staff that were doing it. So they're there. Just sweating it out, of course, in the Texas heat, and moving it all up. This year was a little different, though, because she's more in an apartment, if you will, on the campus. So we had to move her in, and in doing so, it was funny because we got there, I don't know, a couple hours after her friend that she's sharing the apartment.
Roommate.
Yeah, roommate. Yeah, my vocabulary is gone this morning too. And come to find out, they had no AC, no air conditioning. Here it is, 92, 93 degrees out, and we're trying to move. So we several trips. Thankfully, she was on the second floor, not the 5th floor.
Okay.
Use the stairs. There was no elevators because it's like a typical apartment. And yeah, so we moved everything up there. Sweat, and of course, in the apartment, it was like an oven in there.
Right.
All locked.
Did they get it fixed that night, though?
Evidently. I mean, I was there for a few hours, and they were, of course, working on it the whole time. When I left, I don't know, it was probably around 1:00 in the afternoon, and I saw them bringing in on one of those Kubota tractors. They were bringing in a brand new AC. Unit. So gotcha. They got that installed and it was working later that day, but now they got a brand new AC unit. So
there you go.
You go. But if
Well,
any of you got to move in your kids into college, or if they're starting high school, we'd love to hear some of your stories.
yeah,
Do share with
please
us.
put them in the comments, or let us know what school. We'll give a shout out to the college that your kid's going to. If you put it in what school. I know I've got a lot of friends that they went up to University of Arkansas. I've got some that were out at Ole Miss and Alabama. So I know OSU and OU. So I know we got a lot of friends and a lot of listeners out there. What colleges did you guys drive to? Would love to know that.
Absolutely. So, good stuff.
But I'm excited about today's show. I know it's a little bit different. We're kind of wrapping up the series, Joe, that you talked about in the beginning. I'm excited about this one because in today's market, it kind of throws us off a little bit because we came out of a seller's market, right?
Yep.
Where the sellers had all the power. And I would say sellers at that time, they didn't care really what their house looked like. They just put it on the market, to tell you the truth, in my opinion. Right. Okay. Right. And I would love real estate agents that are listening, or anybody else that's listening, please, tell us in the comments, what you do agree or don't agree with. So the one thing that I'm seeing, Joe, is we're talking about buyers and finding that perfect home or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's what this one's about. Don't wait for that perfect home. Well, I kind of want to flip the script first before we go to that is sellers. It's a different market for you too. If you want your home to sell, paint that wall color that you really love, that nobody else really likes, paint it.
Yeah.
Freshen up your home with a coat of paint, freshen up the outside with some new flowers, flower beds. Mm-hmm. Do those little things, sellers, and buyers will be more attracted to your home over somebody else. If there's some wall plates that are missing or broken, replace them. They're not expensive things. And just that one little tweak when that person walks in will make it look like it's refreshed, and they'll be more interested in that house, in my opinion. So sellers right now, this is not a seller's market anymore. Mm-hmm. So, really turning your attitude to, okay, what can we do to make this look a little nicer? What can we declutter? And I know real estate agents, you're out there, you're busting your butts trying to help your listings and get this stuff done. I'm just telling you, sellers, start listening, because they need you to listen right now. So
yeah, because right now I think, in realtors, please chime in, and let us know that buyers right now seem to be very picky, right? Very picky. And which is one of the reasons why we wanted to have the show, because Grant, a couple of months ago, we did a show on, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market right now? And I think it just kind of depends upon the neighborhood that you're in. I've seen, and I know you have too, Joe, some homes have been on the market for like 45, 60 days, and others, the first week, they're getting 4 or 5 offers, so it really just kind of depends upon the neighborhood that you're in. But buyers are definitely being more picky about things, whether it's the countertops, whether it's the paint on the walls, if it's the flower beds, whatever it is. And being overly perfect on what you want can be a trap for you buyers right now. Okay. Because there's other people that are looking at those homes too. Right. And they're selling, they are selling. So if you're waiting for that perfect home, that opportunity that you just saw of that home last weekend is probably going to be gone by now.
Yeah. And I know a couple of agents that I work with, what they do is they always ask their buyers, what's your wish list? Right. And they write down, and your wish list might be 5 things. It might be 10 things. Right. Mm-hmm. But on that wish list, what are the non-negotiables? That's the one thing that I try to tell buyers. And when I'm pre-approving them, figure out what your non-negotiables are, right? 4 bedrooms over 3 bedrooms. I have to have 4 bedrooms. Okay. That's a very good non-negotiable, because that's not something you can change. Right. Yeah. I want a farmhouse sink in the kitchen. That one, you might need to compromise a little bit on that, because that's something you can change out.
Yep.
At, not too expensive of a cost, depending on how much you're wanting to change in that kitchen. But, there's certain things on that wish list. It has to have a pool. Okay. That one could be in Texas. I could see where that's a thing where you really want a pool, depending on the stage of the home that you're buying. Mm-hmm. Those are certain things that I would say, okay, those are sticking points that you can stay with. Joe, what are some other ones that you hear that you kind of want to, on that wish list that you're really not going to compromise to that? What's a couple that you think of?
School district is one.
Oh,
Definitely,
there
right?
you go.
Like you said, number of bedrooms, perhaps, number of car, garage and that. The kitchen, is another high point, I think, for people. The pool, like you said. But understand kitchen, we'll probably talk about this a little bit later. Some of those things like the kitchen, you can change,
Yeah.
right? You can change that up. It may be a matter of, a certain number of bedrooms with an office or den, right?
Yeah.
But I think a school district is probably going to be a top one for people.
Yeah, look,
Certain
school
neighborhood.
district. When it comes to kitchens, my big piece about that is not so much the stuff in the kitchen, is if it is, like my wife, she wants it open to the family room, right? So
There
if
you
you
go.
have a galley kitchen, that's not going to work for her without like a lot of structural changes.
Right.
So that's what I was meaning more about, I guess, layout.
Okay.
The layout of what you're looking for is different than the aesthetics of the kitchen. So
some people only want, a single story and not stairs, right? They don't want to do stairs in that.
So some of those, those things, I don't call those the trap, right?
Right.
Those are ones where it just doesn't fit our need for that house if we go with a 3-bedroom.
Right.
So I think those aren't the trap. The ones that I feel like buyers get into the trap of is, well, I want the perfect interest rate, right? I don't want my payments over $2,500, but I want to buy a $400,000 home. It's not going to work in this market.
Numbers don't work like that, by the way.
No. So the trap is more of those, and then it's those wish list items in that house, right? It could be, oh well, I really want the office with these type of doors or this or that. Those are the things that you got to kind of watch and not worry about the perfection of that house.
Countertops.
Yeah, I mean,
like
from a percentage standpoint, I weigh a little different. I want, if I can hit 60% of my wish list, that's a house that I think I can get the other 40% or my compromise in there. I might be a little high. What would your percentage of your wish list that you would want on it to really kind of like, okay, I can overcome the rest of this?
To answer that, I want to go back on what you said earlier as far as the I call them must-haves. What would you call it? Your non-negotiables, right?
Non-negotiables, yeah.
So your must-haves or non-negotiables. If you could come up with a list of 3 to 5 of those, right? Just a short list. The actual must-haves. This is what we need. We need this many bedrooms. We need in this school district, whatever it is. Square footage perhaps might be one, or the backyard. I mean, I've seen some backyards that are pretty small, and you may have dogs like you and I do, Joe, and we need a bigger backyard, right? So these are some of the must-haves. It would be nice to have kind of list, right? Sort of the nice to have. I mean, it'd be nice to have granite countertops. It'd be nice to have a garage with the epoxy floors, right? I mean, stuff like this. I mean, yeah, if I can get half of those, I'm pretty good, I figure, as long as my must-haves are being met on my list, right? I'll give you an example. My wife and I, she loves white cabinets in the kitchen. White cabinets. Now, to me, they're very hard to keep clean, okay? They just are. Because of that, I mean, it really, to me, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Dark cabinets, white cabinets, paint them gray, whatever you want to do. It's not that big of a deal to me, right? But for her, it's white cabinets. Now, I have to ask her as far as if that's a must-have or would like to have, kind of thing, right? And some of you out there, I mean, tell me what some of yours, tell Joe and I as far as what some of your must-haves are. Or what's on the wish list, right? The things that it would be nice to have. What are some of the things that you feel, or realtors that you see with some of your clients right now? Drop them in the comments below. We do have from earlier, as far as the colleges, Robert
I can't say it. I'm gonna let you say that one. I can't
uh,
say it. I can't say it.
well, let's go. Texas. There you go. There you go, Robert. We got you in there, buddy.
We got your Texas in there, Robert.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. But I think it's a good point though to be able to know going in, working with a realtor that knows what your must-haves are, your non-negotiables are, right? Get those 3, 4, maybe 5, and then build your wish list, but work with a realtor so that they know, right? Because working with a realtor, they're going to help you in making sure to find those items that are fitting for you. And that's a big key.
Yeah. I mean, I like, I like the wish list idea, having the non-negotiables on one and the wish list on the other, and 50% of the wish list. I like that. I think any good agent right now is doing that. They're also doing that with the listings. They're talking to the sellers. Okay, you got a price you want to hit, but without doing this and this, that's going to be a problem. One thing that I do want to mention for any of you guys buying is right now with insurance companies. Oof. Looking at homes, age of the roof is huge right now in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't put that as a non-negotiable, but make sure you're asking the question.
Right.
What is the age of the roof? Because I have one right now. I think the roof's like 14 years old. Wow. And the insurance company's putting a deletion in there because they won't insure it. And without an insured roof, we can't do the loan. So we've had to, you have to negotiate at that point, the seller getting a new roof on that house. And the seller has to look at it, because at that point, they can't sell the house to anybody but a cash buyer if you can't get the insurance on the roof. So, that's probably a must-have for me, where I need to know.
And that's here in Texas. Everybody understand that's here in Texas, right?
I mean, there are roof issues. Yeah, there are roof issues in other states, but Texas is the big one because of all the hailstorms that we have come through there. So, I mean, again, I think, the kind of going back, I kind of got off topic, sorry. But going back to the must-haves, like you talked about the granite, you can change out countertops. It kind of leads me to one of the things that I, wanted us to talk about is when you're buying a house, there's different ways that we can help with the financing to get some of those wish list items knocked off with a renovation. Yes. And you can do it with a purchase, or you can do it with a home improvement loan afterwards. So, Joe, I mentioned, some of those ones where you want a pool, right? You want that pool in the backyard. You're at the stage of your life. You want a little bit of the luxury items. The nice thing is, there's 2 different ways to get a pool put in. And you can finance it at either the time of purchase or right after you purchase, depending on the type of loan we do. Yeah. And, people talk about renovation loans. Well, the home style and I can't remember, what is it?
Choice renovation.
Choice. Thank you. Yep. With Freddie, both of them allow luxury items like pools.
And those are conventional, people, by the way. Those are a part of conventional loans. Both of those that you mentioned.
So that's one way that you could get some of those wish list items. You can knock them out. You could redo the kitchen. You could do a pool with some renovations. The one thing is those renovations have to add to the value of your home.
Yes. Yes.
So, I want you guys to understand, you're not doing a renovation loan to get 5-gallon bucket of paint, because it's not going to increase the value of your home. It might increase somebody coming in and buying it quicker. Right. But, these renovations we're talking about, they don't have to be, adding square footage and all that stuff, but it is true updates and things that will add value to your house.
And that's a big key to it, is adding value to it. So when you walk in, I want everybody to understand the real value in what we're talking about here is that when you're out house shopping and you walk into a home and you like everything about it, it checks the boxes of your must-haves, right? But then there's the kitchen, or then there's the master bathroom, right? Something that's just like, that just doesn't fit. That's the one thing that would hold us back from making an offer on this home. This is where these purchase renovation loans come in. And it's a great value to you, because now as some say, as long as the bones of the house are good, right, you can change the rest of it. And that's what you can do with this in purchasing a home. If you don't like my wife, right, likes the white cabinets in the kitchen, and let's say they're all, dark cherry or something like this, or dark walnut, whatever, we can change that as a part of the purchase. Now, again, as Joe said, it has to add value to the home, right? So especially those of you that like this is another situation. I think this is great for Joe, is those that like the fixer-upper homes,
Yep.
right? I mean, this is another great way to be able to use these. And you've got a couple of different options with conventional loans, and you've got an option with FHA loans as well, and VA as well too, Joe, right?
Yep.
With renovation. So there's options out there to be able to go in, look at a home and say, this checks all the boxes, the neighborhood, the school, number of bedrooms, but boy, that kitchen, or boy, that master bath. I mean, it's just, if we could do this to it, you can do that as a part of the purchase, right?
Well, and then the other way of doing it, let's say that you want to just buy the home outright because you don't know exactly what you want to do right now, and the sellers, you don't want to miss the house. We can still come in and do a regular purchase, and then after that, I pair up with Shelly Long. She's with Frost Bank, so Shelly, if you're listening, I'm giving you a shout out because I love y'all's home improvement loans. But I pair up, and a good loan originator will pair up with other people that have products that are better for their clients than sometimes they even have. Mm-hmm. But they do a great job on a home improvement loan. So what they'll do is they'll take the actual estimate of what the work is going to be done, Joe. Mm-hmm. So what they'll do is, let's say that you're going to dump $75,000 into the renovations of your house. Mm-hmm. They will take that 75,000 and then they'll go at 75%. So to make math easy for me, guys, I'm going to say 100,000. So they'll lend up 75,000 of that 100,000.
Yes.
But then what they do is a percentage off of what you've already put down on your house and what the value of the house would be after that part.
Yep.
And they'll lend up to 90%. A lot of math in there. So get with an originator that can do it. But I had a buddy of mine, he put in $200,000 in his backyard, and he only had to come out of pocket $1,500 because with this down payment that he did on the purchase of the house, he did 25% down. The value that he was adding to it, it came out to where he only had $1,500 out of pocket to do $200,000 worth of work. So there are ways of doing things like that. It's not always going to work out that way. Some of you, like for my own, I had to come out of pocket about another $25,000 for all the work we wanted done after the home improvement loan we did, because we added some things last minute. So, it just depends on what you're wanting to do, but there are those ways of getting that financing. So again, not waiting for that perfect home that fits every box, right? Mm-hmm. Real estate agents know this. And if you're any of our agents that are listening, please chime in, with some of the things that maybe you think buyers are holding on to, that they need to know that it's a quick fix. I would love to know what those things are that you're hearing from your buyers. One of them to me is flooring. Joe, I'm kind of switching topics on this, right? Flooring.
Okay.
The flooring in the house. Either the laminate is in there, or you have a hardwood that's all scratched up and you're not liking it. Right. There's certain things like flooring to me is one where that's something you can ask for seller concessions to help offset some of your costs, so you could put flooring in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't put it as a repair.
Please don't.
Be the one that's in charge of what you want in that house. Don't put it on the seller to replace, because if you do that, they're going to replace it with whatever, and then you might not be happy with it.
So as our friend J-Lo would say, if you like it, put a ring on it. You can always fix it later, right?
You've been waiting for that one, haven't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, marrying that home is one thing. Yes. You don't have to marry everything inside that house.
Right.
You can marry the location, marry the footprint, marry the things that you really love about the neighborhood, whatever that might be. Mm-hmm. But you can, because guess what? If you're living there for 10 years, that house that was built 20 years ago, now that interior is 30 years old.
And during that time, you're going to be making repairs, folks. And I want you to understand that, because I had a client yesterday that had an offer, that their offer was accepted. Inspection came in. And I don't know, the realtor and I were baffled by this. The inspector put stuff on the inspection report that was ridiculous, like $200 of door stoppers, right? And like $400 in door handles on a couple of the doors. And these are first time home buyers. They saw the lists and it added up to about $5,000 or $6,000, right? Of all these little things. And so now the buyers want to go back and negotiate like 5,000 or 6,000 in seller concessions. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, door stops, vents, door handles, these are things that no, you're not going to get seller concessions. Understand that. Right. If it's the roof, if it's the AC unit, if it's something yes, then realtors, please chime in. Then yes, seller concessions go after. But doorknobs, no, you're not going to get seller concessions for that. Change it yourself, right? This is a part of home ownership, right? Is doing some of these things yourself. And if anything, I know, Joe, you and I, we enjoy doing some of that stuff. I mean, that's kind of the pride of home ownership.
You get a sense of accomplishment when you do something to your own place, right? You change out door handles, you change out front door locks and things like that.
Make it your own.
I would always err on the side of caution when an inspector starts giving me things that aren't really mechanical or things that aren't safety hazards. I start questioning why are we putting that on the report. Right. One, don't show me those reports because if I have to go down the path of showing it to a real estate or to the real estate agent, or if I have to show it to an underwriter, it can cause you more issues. Now you can ask me questions about it all day long sure. because I will give you my opinion, but real estate agents know what they're looking at when it comes to these inspections. And a good real estate agent, they have a team already. They probably have 3 or 4 different inspectors in different areas because, they work all over the DFW area on the ones that I work with. They work all over Omaha. So they're going to have inspectors that also work all over the areas and know them. So, yes. Look at those reports and look at the big items, the mechanical stuff. Like Joe said, somebody's telling me to replace the doorknobs. If I'm selling that house, I'm like, okay, I'll replace them, but I'm going to go down to Habitat for Humanity and I'm going to buy those brass ones and I'm going to put them on there. You're not going to like them. I'm not trying to be deceitful, but you know what I'm getting at. I'm not doing it to the same satisfaction that you would, because it's your house at that point. I'm trying to help. So just certain things, but sellers don't do that either. Don't go get the brass doorknobs and put them on. Your house will not sell with those.
And if anything, when you do buy a house, folks, the front door and the back door, change those out so there's different locks on them. Anyways, I mean, that's just a safety thing that you want to do.
Most home warranties, I would check into the home warranties because if you get a good home warranty, it comes with replacement of your lock, and they'll come out and do it. So check out the home warranties, especially if you're getting the seller to pay for it. Maybe it'll cost you a couple $100 more, but at least this way they come out and change out all the locks and rekey for you. So then that way you're secure and you don't have to worry about if somebody made a copy for their brother's sister's kid that still comes to that house, so get the locks changed.
So when it comes down to it, folks, finding the perfect house might actually be the one that you create, not the one that you find, right? Yep. So keep that in mind. And when you're out there looking, be sure and know that, these little things, you can change them. You can change them after you've moved in, and you want to change the paint on the walls and stuff. If it's a little bit more major things, as far as like Joe said, the flooring and that, yes, you can do as part of a renovation loan, either with the purchase or after the purchase, or a pool, what have you, as long as it's going to add value to the home, which of course that's the only, well, I shouldn't say the only reason you'd want to do that, but some of it is just personal wish list stuff, right?
Yep.
Well, I see we're drawn to the end of our time here, Joe. So we'll kind of wrap things up. Just a couple of pro tips for everyone. Be prepared to move when the right home appears. And it doesn't have to be, as we're saying, the perfect home. You can make it the perfect home with your colors, your accents, and so on, that you have, for your own taste and style. So, but work with a realtor that understands what your goals are, what your wish list is, and what your must-haves are, and write that out together, right? You and the spouse and that, so that you can give that to the realtor, and they know really what to hone in and look for, so it's not wasting your time. But trust the process. Finally, trust the process. Perfect, understand it is an illusion. Progress is the winner. And if you end up waiting for the perfect home, that's just going to stall everything, and progress won't happen, and you won't win. So if you'd like to know more about some of the options that we've talked about as far as renovation loans, and how they work with purchasing a home or after purchase and that, reach out to Joe or I at the email. Can we pop up our email?
Yeah,
down there, and for everyone, so that you know how to get a hold of us, either one of us there, and we can schedule some time with you to go more in depth of how these work and see if it would be a fit or not in your particular situation, what you're looking for, especially if you're one that likes to go in looking for those fixer-upper homes. So next week, be sure to tune in next week at our usual time, 9 a.m. Central on Wednesday mornings. Thank you to everyone for listening in, especially for those who made comments. Robert, I think you're the only one listening right now. It was one of our 2 listeners. But thank you, everyone, for listening in and commenting. We truly do appreciate it. And if you want to catch up on any of our past episodes, go to our YouTube channel at The Mojo Show Real Estate Podcast. And, of course, while you're there, please be sure and hit the subscribe button, because we are on a mission to get to 1,000 subscribers. And of course, every like, share, and comment helps us reach more homeowners like yourselves. So before we close things out, any last words or nuggets of advice for our listeners there, Joe?
Just make sure you guys are getting pre-approved with the right originator. Work with a professional real estate agent. Make sure you're being taken care of. They're here to help you through your journey of buying a house.
Awesome. Great advice. I'm Joe Mortgage, and that handsome guy there with the beard is Cup of Joe Mortgage, and we'll see you next week.
Mr. Mojo.